I was worried I wasn't going to have enough material for the sleeve. Like I said, I had quite a few. I wasn't messing around, was I? The Joseph Turner, don't know who that is, but look at that. How could I resist? Did I find it straightforward to follow? Mostly, yes. Hello sewing friends, it's the reveal day for the Busy Bee Sewing Challenge 2024. So myself alongside 7 other sewists have all got vlogs coming out today revealing our makes from the pattern challenge. Well everybody, I made it by the skin of my teeth. It was touch and go, but you know me, I like to get things done and I work well under pressure. So here we are on reveal day. There's obviously mine, Christine's, and then you've got to me, Christine, Laura, Kate of Ripper Seams, Laura of So Very Laura, Nikki of Snip and Sew, Janine, testing me. Then we've got Knots and Needles, and there's one more, and it says it, and the lovely Claire of So Loves Red. So there is 7 of us, 8 of us, I've lost count, oh my goodness, revealing our pattern challenges today. If you haven't seen the explanation, it's all in the playlist, which I'll link and put at the end. But in a nutshell, the pattern challenge, we sent each other patterns and we had to make up what the other person sent us. I've done a whole episode again, which is in the playlist, revealing my pattern that I was sent and my thoughts, and today is how it went. So first of all, there's some fabric here. Let's grab the pattern booklet. So in a trusty project bag, because I've got to put the pattern away now, is the pattern. So if you haven't seen the original reveal, just a quick recap. I was sent by the lovely Nikki of Snip and Sew an Ellie and Mac puff sleeve peplum dress bodysuit pattern. Ellie and Mac, interestingly, don't give them like names like the Barbara or whatever like I've sewn before. So there it is. If you haven't seen this pattern, I do a much more detailed review of the pattern in my reveal. So if you want to know my thoughts about the booklet, my sizing, that sort of thing, definitely hop over and watch that. But today I am pleased to say I have finished it. As I say, it was by the skin of my teeth. 2 days to go before the end of July, but I managed it. I originally planned to do a toile and then in this fabric afterwards. I was a bit of a maverick. I looked at the timings I'd got and I went, I'm just going to go straight for the actual fabric. Worst case, I'll have to make it into a vest top or something if it goes wrong. But also this fabric was more sturdy than the toile fabric, and when I looked at it a bit more I thought it needs good stretch, but I felt it needed to be a little bit more sturdy, particularly to cope with like having poppers and things sewn on. I had a good read of the instructions, but I did hop over, and thank you to the lovely person who put the comment. There is a sew along, so I will link that below as well on the Ellie and Mac YouTube page, which is really helpful sometimes when you're just not sure, because I got in a little bit of a pickle with one part, so I did have a look at the sew along for that because I'd clearly cut out a bit I didn't need. The pattern sizes that I cut out are actually the ones that were spot on for me. Somebody did warn me that it came out a bit large, but for me it came out spot on. So to remind you, again in my reveal I go into a lot more detail, but I started at a medium at the bust and graded out to a large for the waist and bottom. There's a really good bit of instructions on the pattern as well about measuring your waist, because depending on your height, your torso doesn't always vary. So even though I'm 5'2", I have an average length torso. My height loss is in my legs, not in my torso. For some people, their height loss is in their torso. So the last thing you want is a baggy bottom on a bodysuit, or if you've got a longer torso, and I know some people have, it pulling too tight. So it's really great that on the pattern pieces, it does show you, I'll just grab the right piece, it has a bit and it tells you, and she mentions it in her sew along as well, how to adjust for height. Please add, subtract a ½ inch for every inch taller or shorter than the 5'5" height minus the amount you've added or subtracted to the other bodice line, it says there. And it says side waist of 8 inches. To adjust the bodice for height, please measure your side waist and add or subtract the difference to the 8-inch side waist at this line, which is on here. Now, if you're a little bit confused by that, in the pattern, because it's a bit, I'm not so great with wording things like that, in the pattern there is a blog tutorial on altering patterns for height as well, and she also talks about it in the video. But I know I have another torso height. I know my waist height is slightly different, but my torso length is average, because I've done it with, like, because I've sewn a lot of patterns. I know that. I know my bottom is a bit rounder, but that's why I'd gone for a large there, to accommodate that, because I was thinking about my hips and having a bit more material. So, did I like the pattern? Yes, I did. Did I find it straightforward to follow? Mostly yes, but I did find it annoying that the pattern pieces are not like A, B, C, D lettered. It's really helpful. She tells you which pages to print if you're printing a PDF to stick together at home, depending on which one you're making. But for me, I like to know, like, cut out piece A, B and E for the bodice or something like that, because I ended up cutting out the back neck facing, and then when I sewed it onto the neckband, I was like, that's weird, they're not the same length, and also it feels too long. So that's when I went to the sew along, and actually I only needed the neckband. The scoop neck was perfect, not overly low, not baggy, and actually the shoulders as well, for someone like me with narrow shoulders, this sat perfectly. I did 2, not 3 poppers for several reasons, including the fact that I only had 2 of the same size, but they were fine. The instructions were good about how to get this nice gussety fold-in bit. That was good, and it was nice straightforward make. Nice way, like the Agnes in the Tilly and the Buttons, to do the gathering on the puff sleeve, but then you gathered around here as well. So I was worried I wasn't going to have enough material for the sleeve, but it's not overly big compared to like the Billy, which is a puff sleeve. This was, I got it out of this remnant, and unfortunately I can't remember, but it wasn't a huge remnant piece. I'm going to put some, I'll wiggle this way, I'll put some photos and video in while I'm talking. So what do I like? I like the shaping. I like the fact that down the back you've got 2 pieces joined together so it fits your back better. I like the sleeve shape. I really like the neck shape. I like the instructions. I like the way this fits. In one of the photos here, I have actually put it on over the top of leggings so you can see the full fit, because with a bodysuit you do want to see how does it fit around the bottom, and I have a good round bottom, so it's important to see that. So I popped it over some leggings, and then I've popped it on with outfit as well. I think I would make this just as a t-shirt as well. I think it'd be a really nice t-shirt pattern. And I'm definitely interested now that I know I've picked the right sizing, I'm definitely interested in having a go at the faux wrap front bodysuit. There's a wrap one here. There's some of the instructions. See if I can find a picture of that. Because, oh, and I quite like the idea for the winter of doing the turtleneck, the roll neck on it as well, and the longer sleeve. I do like this big gallery at the back. I went and had a look and zoomed in on those, and I really like the idea of trying the wrap front, because I think that the wrap front bodysuit could be just quite interesting. Yes, I think this is definitely going to be one where I can create for the winter the turtleneck, the roll neck with a longer sleeve. I'm definitely going to play with this pattern and make just like a sort of a fitted t-shirt. I think that this could definitely get worn well. I'm pleased with the colours in this, because I've got the lovely lilac trousers and black trousers, so that it's appearing here. So thank you, Nikki, for paying close attention to things that I wanted to try. First ever bodysuit I've made. I've never made swimsuit either. First time putting poppers in for like fitting together underneath. I've done like the old popper at the back and things, but first time doing that. And also really nicely fitted pattern as well. So thank you, Nikki, for such a great pattern. So let's now talk about challenge 2, which like the Great British Sewing Bee is the transformation challenge. So this is where we ask everyone to upcycle something, not to start with from fabric from their stash. So this is not a use up your stash fabric. This is transform something into something else. This year we have encouraged all 8 of us to try and pick a specific transformation from the sewing bee. Christine very kindly did a list because we do have an international member of the challenge and they're not able to see season 10 yet. However, good news, they can watch Sew Let Sparkle with Sam's synopsis of each one. So if you can't see the sewing bee, I promise you watching Sam's is close to, if not better than watching it. So if you're thinking, I don't know what the transformation challenge is, I'll link Sam's first one below. She's done one for every single episode, so you can get a sense of that. This year they've done things like had a bunch of t-shirts that they had to turn into something that didn't look like a t-shirt. They had ties which they had to transform into something like a whole like piece of clothing. They have had party items like tablecloths and bunting to make into an outfit. There's been some really enjoyable ones this year, and I was looking through, and although there's lots that could inspire me, so I could get out some of the party stuff we've got and get some party stuff, I'm mindful that I want to do something that I will then wear, because for me that's an important part of any transformation. And I had a watch back of some previous seasons, so if you are able to access BBC iPlayer, all the previous seasons, and I do believe in America some of the previous seasons are now available. And a bit like the Great British Sewing Bee, when they reveal for the transformation challenge a whole sort of rail of things to choose from, I have, hang on, quite a collection of men's shirts. I once made an entire dress, a shirt dress, so I'll put a picture in here of that. And it was pre-breast reduction, so now it doesn't fit, so I'm trying to work out what to do. But I was going to make a green one, so I'd started collecting a green and pink one, so I had started collecting them. So I have a lovely green gingham man's shirt, and I often buy them big, because then I've got plenty to work with, and that's got really nice down the front. While I'm getting these out and showing you, I'd just like to address the fact that sometimes people worry that buying these in charity shops prevents people who want a man's shirt, who's going to wear it as a man's shirt, from buying it. I can assure you, first of all, I often only buy them when they're reduced, which tells me they've been around a substantial amount of time and nobody has chosen to buy them. And secondly, in the UK, only about 30% of items in a charity shop get bought. So whilst I won't necessarily take first dibs, if I go back a week later and it's still there, I may well buy it, or I'll buy the shirt off Vinted or eBay, because that's sort of person to person shopping, so they don't all come from charity shops. I think at least one of these is from my other half, who never wears this kind of shirt anymore post COVID. So I've got a nice crisp blue one. I love this one now. I definitely got this, I think, off Vinted or eBay. This is a pink ginghamy check one, and this is actually a Bowden one. I paid a bit more for that one, but the fabric is pretty glorious on that. And you don't often see this kind of man's shirt. Those kind, they're often very, very dull. Get ready for this one. This one was reduced, probably because not anybody who wanted a man's shirt for a man's shirt's reason wanted to get this. Look at this one. This is a Joseph Turner, don't know who that is, but look at that. How could I resist? And it's a good size one, that one. There's plenty of fabric in that one. There's the colours up close for you. And then a second pink one, because as I say, I wanted to make a green and pink dress. This one is one of those ones with like the different neck collar, and I do like using a collar, and it's like a stripe. And this one, when it came, wasn't quite how I hoped it was, so I did over dye it. Still not sure if I love it. I think this is more vintagey actually. Master shirts. So I could use it, but I don't love it. Maybe I should dye it again. This stripe one, when I said I had quite a few, I wasn't messing around, was I? Vineyard Poplin. I love looking at the names in them. And last of all, another green one, which was not the green I hoped it would be when it came, so I definitely got that from like Vinted or eBay. And items, what a label, look, items. So yes, that is my collection of, that one's short sleeves, slightly less fabric, of men's shirts. Shirts. So what I want to do for my upcycle challenge is do something with some of these. I have done upcycles of shirts before. I'll put a picture in here of one where I actually resized it, put a frill on the back, etc. That was a nice one. I've done one where I had two and I made them like 50-50 and double collared it. I enjoyed doing that. I made one for, was it Sew Upcycle, whatever it is, last year. That was a bit of a for me. It didn't quite work the way I hoped it would, and I used like the front bit up the sleeve for interest. It's a tricky one because homemade, handmade, upcycled is all like a strange realm, isn't it? I have seen something, I'll shuffle this way a minute. I have seen something that Sewing in the City has done, where she's done like used her drop shoulder jumper pattern, and instead of adding a sweatshirt sleeving, she's actually put a shirt sleeve on. I quite like the look of that. I've got various sweatshirt colours, so I feel like I could do something with that. She also does like a nice ruffle sometimes on her sweatshirt sleeves. But I've also seen there's someone I follow on Instagram, Upcyclics or something she's called, where she upcycles lots of sweatshirts together. And I have got like some sweatshirts, but this stash here is what I'd rather use. I mean, there's some lovely ones in here. I mean, this pink gingham is gorgeous, isn't it? I mean, I don't know if the pink and the green go nicely together, if that green, finding the right colour, but actually that pink and blue, there has to be something I can do with these that means it doesn't end up looking like a shirt. So is it time to make another shirt dress, or is it time to do like a sweatshirt shirt combo, or like a summer co-ord of shorts and a top? I would love your thoughts on this because I really want to use some of these. I can't keep having them all, and I've definitely got another one somewhere that's not here as well. It's like a check one, so I have to turn that out. But I think it's time. It is time to use some of them and give them a new life to be worn. I am going to try to avoid using any of my own fabric. Use haberdashery like the Sewing Bee, but try not to. But if I did need to make it work, then I would allow that in my own rules, because I want it to be something I will wear. I'm looking at behind me there. That is a Nautilus bell, a Marilla Walker Nautilus dress, and I'm now wondering, could I do one half in one colour and one in the other on the front of two shirts, like the pink check and the pink stripe down like that, and then a skirt? Or just don't think this green is quite right, and I was disappointed because when I got it I was really hoping to be able to go with the pink and the green. I don't know actually. I could do one side in that and one side in that, and then I could do a skirt that was layers of pink and green. It's a thinker, it's something to think on, but I really want to do something with this. I really like this one actually. It's really quite it feels like cotton lawny, like silky, like cotton sateen. Oh look, it's got one of those nice sort of, what do we call that? Godet? Gusset? What would we call that in a man's shirt? I'd love to know what those. This is a really substantial amount of fabric. Look at the size of that shirt. I mean, there is enough there for me to make a skirt. But what would I do for top? And would I make another skirt to go with it? Like stripes? It's a bit of a thinker, because if you do skirt, what you've got is you have got the buttons down the front. And that's one of the things I like to use, is you have already got the placket. So if you wanted it as a top or a skirt, you've already got a placket there that you can use. So when I'm always thinking of using shirts and reusing them, I love to think about how to keep that in. And it has got that lovely collar as well. It's big, but just imagine that collar on something. It's even still got the things in. Right, so pop your comments below for what you think I should do with the shirts. I've now got the month of August to think about it, and the reveal is the last Wednesday of August, which is not the last day like July, but it's the last Wednesday of August will be with the reveal. Don't forget to go and check all the other channels out and watch their pattern reveals, and also see what they're thinking of doing for the transformation challenge, and keep watching everybody's Busy Bee challenges, because there's a whole playlist I've linked here or wherever it is where you can go and watch them too. Catch you again soon. Bye.